The Ukrainian Defence Ministry and its UK counterpart have tweeted a video of British troops forming a guard of honour for Ukrainian soldiers trained in Britain as they return to the front line. Under Operation Interflex, new Ukrainian recruits are given British Army training before heading back to defend their homeland. The UK Ministry of Defence tweeted that the soldiers were returning home to defend their freedom, loved ones and independence.
Ukraine's president has called on world leaders to react after a video apparently showing a Ukrainian soldier being beheaded by a Russian serviceman was released. A military helicopter used by the UK in the Falklands conflict more than 40 years ago is playing a key role in the war in Ukraine.
A third Sea King aircraft is being delivered to the country this month and will be used to evacuate casualties and transport troops. Our diplomatic correspondent James Landale has more.
For years, this helicopter served the British Navy, but now it's flying new colours. One of two Sea Kings the UK has given Ukraine. An iconic British aircraft, here to fetch and carry, to rescue and reconnoitre. We joined the crew on patrol in the skies of southern Ukraine.
This aircraft is not new. It can't fire any missiles, but it can play a key role moving troops and kit to where they need to be on the battlefield. It does it with some style.
It's also being used to evacuate casualties and rescue pilots who've ejected behind enemy lines, a matter close to the crew's heart.
I like this helicopter because it's incredibly good for flying. It's one of the best for combat operations, whether transporting equipment or carrying out search and rescue. It's easy to fly even in difficult conditions.
These pictures are from the second helicopter Britain's given, and its pilots were not even born when it first saw combat in another conflict that began with an illegal invasion. For this aircraft is more than 40 years old and looked like this in the Falklands in 1982. Just one of many Sea Kings used by British forces to retake the islands in the South Atlantic from invading Argentine troops.
It's a wonderful aircraft, a hugely flexible aircraft, great capability. You can do almost anything with it.
The man who flew this helicopter in the Falklands said it played an historic role, taking the British general to Port Stanley to accept the Argentine surrender.
Quite an interesting operation, right apart from the weather. The ceasefire hadn't been signed up to this stage, and so the aircraft was flying into Stanley, competing not with just the weather, but also some still rather unfriendly Argentines around.
His old Sea King here was even flown in the Falklands by Prince Andrew, then serving as a young naval pilot.
They're doing the flight servicing.
In a hangar in southern England, a third Sea King is being prepared for war, and Ukrainian naval engineers have been trained to keep it flying.
Is this aircraft too old for combat?
They are old, but they've gone through modernisation, and we need them very much. I believe this is just the start of our work together.
And he may be right. There are other Sea Kings in Britain that could join this one if the government wants to send them. They'd certainly be welcome. James Landale, BBC News in southern Ukraine.